one, if you can move them. Sorry?
Box score by any chance?
They're coming.
All right, thanks.
Joe, Gary Wash from Boston Globe. 21-point lead. What happened after that, and what saved you? Like, what gave you the fortitude to make plays enough to hold on, obviously on the biggest stage?
Yeah, I mean, you were going to expect a run from them because they had a 19-point quarter. And so, just by the type of shots they take alone, you knew they were going to make some kind of run. Some of those came at the expense of our offense. I thought maybe, we missed a couple reads. They changed coverages and they changed matchups on like 3 or 4 straight possessions, and we missed the read to get the right shot. So I'd say probably 60% of the shots we took in that stretch, we got to get better, and 40% I was okay with. We just missed them. But our one-shot defense and our ability to get back to the game plan, they put a ton of pressure on your defensive game plan throughout, and you just got to stick with the discipline of it. So we were able to do that and make plays down the stretch.
Dave, second row on the left.
Joe, you guys were able to build a 15-point lead, headed into the fourth, and in that 19-point quarter you alluded to for the Mavs, Jalen and Jason combined for 22. What was working for them that maybe wasn't necessarily there for them in the first half?
Nothing. Our first half points per shot was 1.23, and so I thought we were getting like really good looks. They just weren't falling, and so you just got to stick with it over the course of the entire game. I thought in the third quarter we found the right spacing, we found the right frequency, and we made the right read 6 straight times, which got us those shots, and they were able to fall. And then that's where the second stretch of that fourth quarter, we missed some of those reads, and they were able to come back into the game. So just those guys' ability to know that what shots they're taking and continue to take the right ones over and over again.
John, back right.
Joe, John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. You went with Xavier Tillman in this one, and he ended up as a +9 overall. What did you see from him? What made you go in that direction?
He played in the Western Conference for 3-4 years, and so he's played against the Mavs, and so he's had that experience. Memphis has used a similar game plan that we have, so he was used to that. And I thought, with that comfort level of playing against those guys for so long, he was going to be able to execute the things that we needed to execute. And so I thought he did a great job in our switching. He did a great job in our screening, getting to our spacing. And that's what we talk about with those guys, is regardless of who's in, who's out, I trust the next man up because of the work they put in and the staff that prepares them.
Jared on the right, third row.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. You used to get asked if you guys took too many threes for a long time, and it doesn't seem like that question gets asked too much anymore. You had double the number of threes they had for a lot of this game. They start to come back when they actually start taking them. How has your team been able to just stick with that, play through the misses? You're letting them attack your cross matches, and they're taking 2. How does that math play out in the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got asked that question a lot just because it was new. Anytime you're developing a new philosophy or a new style, it just takes time for understanding and execution. And so credit to the guys where we've decided how we're going to play, and we fight to do that. And, but also just being flexible in that. So it's not, we don't want to just settle for those. I think our guys have done a good job fighting for the right shot based on what the defense is giving us. We were able to get some of those in the third quarter. So I think it says a lot about them. The guys understand the game. They understand why we do what we do, and they work to execute it as best as they can.
Jay here in the second row.
What goes into weathering the storm when Kyrie and Luka come out as aggressive as they are, and they're firing on all cylinders in that first half?
Yeah.
What resilience goes into just kind of sticking with it and staying disciplined when they're going like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's first having an awareness as to how are they scoring, what are they doing. You got to ask yourself: are we executing the game plan? Are we giving the shots up that we're willing to give up? And so we I think it was one of the quarters we had like 26 points of points that we can control, and so you got to fight like hell to take those away. Once you take those away, then you can either execute or game plan or work to adjust. And so I thought our guys did a great job of understanding the points that we could control, and they fought to take those away throughout the rest of the game.
Tim, all the way in the back.
Joe, you guys had a real big run.
Thank you.
Late in the first quarter of game 1. I think you had one in the third quarter of game 2. You had 2 really big ones tonight. Is it just something innate about this team that they know when there's an opportunity to really hit the gas, or is it just talent sometimes that when you have these big stretches of pulling away and making it seem so easy?
Well, I would say both teams have a lot of talent, so I think you have to have talent to get to this spot. So that's a given if you want to make it this far. But our guys have a great basketball IQ. They have an understanding of, are we playing the right way? Are we taking the right shots? Are we giving up the right shots? And they know exactly when we're not doing that. And so they have an innate ability to control the runs of the game with the philosophy that we have and execute the things. And so it's just constant building awareness. Are we getting the right shots? Are we giving up the right shots? And then are we winning the transitions? And the guys do a great job of working towards understanding that.
Adam.
One thing you've talked about a lot during the years, how it's not supposed to go a certain way. The game's not supposed to go a certain way. We've seen, occasionally there's a big lead goes away, but for the most part, you guys figure it out in the end throughout the season. What has been the process, the guys kind of grasping that and not kind of, when they're right on the edge, not falling over it?
Just what we talked about, having an understanding of, like, we know teams are going to make runs. Can we manage those? And we know why we make runs, and we know why other teams make run on us. And so you just have to constantly problem solve throughout the game. You have to ask yourself why every single possession. Why did that happen? Why did this happen? Was this what we talk about? Was it not? And the guys, they fight for that because of their basketball IQ. So they spend a lot of time understanding that. And that's part of the game, right? Like, they got out to a big lead, and I forgot, I don't even know what we were down. What were we down? 13? And so, like, that's just part of the game. But it's understanding why. Why are we down 13? Is it effort? Is it execution? Is it things we can control? And once we answer those questions, we can move on, to the next phase of the game.
Vinny, third row in the center.
Joe, Vince Gilbo, Yahoo Sports.
How you doing?
Good. Jalen had the big third quarter when he helped you guys push to the lead, and then in the fourth, he had the big jumper when Dallas was charging. Just the poise that he's played with. How have you seen that grow, not just in this series, but since you started coaching him?
How can I explain Jalen? The guy just has a growth mindset. He just wants to get better. He yearns to get better. He's not afraid to face his weaknesses, on the court. And so when you have that type of mindset, you're just going to be able to take on every situation that the game brings you. So he puts himself in every single situation that he sees in a game. He uses 6, 7, 8 coaches a day. And every situation on both ends of the floor, he puts himself in that. And that's how you have to grow, is to, become vulnerable on the things that make you uncomfortable. And he does that.
Tim, back left.
Joe, you guys have been able to put a lot of pressure on Luka at both ends. You're obviously able to pressure up with Jalen and Drew all the way up the court, and then you're able to go at him with a bunch of different options on offense, make him work a lot. Have you noticed that working throughout the game in terms of sort of being able to wear him down as the game?
I don't think he gets worn down. He looks pretty fresh out there. I think we could do a better job of being intentional about the offense and the spacing at times. But I don't see him getting tired at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Follow up on. Go ahead. 2.
Just in terms of the intentionality on offense, did you think that was an issue in that stretch in the fourth quarter when things went sideways?
Yeah. We were trying to play fast, create advantages, and create indecision, but we didn't create any indecision. And so when you miss the first read, it's not a lack of execution from the guys. It's not a lack of trying to execute. It's if you miss the first read and you miss the first window, it's really hard to get that window back against the team. And so, that's what we were able to do in the third quarter. We found the first read, bang, right there, and we got it 6, 7, 8 times in a row. If you miss that first one, it's a nightmare to get a second and a third one, and that's when you end up taking a couple of shots that you don't want to take. So it wasn't because they weren't trying to. We just missed it. They do a good job of changing matchups and changing spacings and fluctuating it. So, there's probably about 8 possessions where we'll definitely watch and be like, we gotta do a better job of seeing the first read, and when we don't, we gotta find the second one faster.
Last 2 here in the front, and then Ramona.
Steve Buckley from The Athletic. Joe, you made the comment before the game, the closer you are to beating them up, the closer you are to losing.
Yeah.
That's front and center now with the 3-0 series lead. So what can you do to reinforce that message over the next couple of days?
Yeah, just stick to the things that we've been doing. have an understanding. I think, we were down 13. I expected that. We were down 1.5. I expected that. So you got to expect the expected. You got to understand that, we're just as vulnerable, if not more vulnerable than they are. And we have to play that way. And so as long as we have that mindset, when you understand that you're vulnerable and your back's against the wall, you got to fight. And so that's the mindset that we have to have.
Ramona on the left.
Hi, Joe, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN.
Hi.
Derek wasn't shooting the ball all that well for most of the game, and then hits a couple of really big ones in that fourth quarter. I know that's kind of what he does sometimes for you guys, but is that just his mentality? Is that your emphasis on continue to shoot the three, just lean into the math? Where does that come from?
Again, it's all about taking the right shots. It's all about taking what the defense gives you. They're playing a unique defense against us because they're one of the best teams in the league at protecting the rim, and they have two great rim protectors. And so if you try to become stubborn, you put yourself in a disadvantaged situation at the other end of the floor. Our defense starts with our offense, and so if we don't take the right shot, we can't guard them. And our team has the discipline to fight for the spacing and to fight to take the right shot, whatever that shot may be. Derek has a green light to shoot the shots because his skill set is taking the shots that make sense. He can get into the paint and shoot the 2-foot floater off there. He can shoot off the dribble threes. He can shoot catch and shoot threes. So I love the fact that he continues to play. His confidence never wavers based on the shots he takes, and you can always count on him to make the big ones.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Jason Tatum's on his way in. What? John, first question, back right in the. There you go.
Jason, John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. After the game was over, you and Jalen had a long kind of embrace at half court. Can you share any of what that was and like kind of what was going through your mind at that moment?
Just, showing the emotions of the game. Two guys that was excited, tired that, after the game, we're not necessarily saying like one more or anything like that. We're just saying however long it takes. Nobody's relaxed. Nobody is satisfied. But, just at that moment, just told him I was proud of him, and he said the same thing, and that we got to keep fighting. We can't relax, and that was basically the conversation.
Tim in the back under the camera.
Jason, Tim Reynolds with the AP. Kind of along those lines, I know you haven't gone through this, so you don't know what the next 2 days will be like, but how difficult do you envision it to make between now and Friday night seem normal, seem like there's just a game to play on Friday?
Honestly, not too difficult. From the standpoint of last year, we were down 0-3 in the conference finals, and we really felt like, we were going to come back, and we almost did. We was a sprained ankle away from having like a real shot. So, we're not relaxing or anything like that. And, just not even focusing on winning on Friday or whatever, just however long it takes. That's our motto, just however long it takes, that's what it's going to take. And nobody's not time to relax at all.
Standing in the back left.
Valencia King, Real Talk Sports out of Dallas. Thank you for your time, Jason. If I could take you away from basketball for a moment. Father's Day is coming up on Sunday, and I know that's something that's very important to you. As you begin to face this obstacle of fighting for a title, what would you tell your son about facing obstacles and overcoming them?
That's a great question. I would say that, life is about roller coasters, right? And the game of basketball and life and whatever your occupation is, right? We all go through ups and downs. And in the toughest moments, that's when your true character comes out. And essentially being the same person all the time, that's what I try to do in the best of times and in the worst of times. And that's what I'm going to try to instill him, that you got to be the same person, got to be a stand-up guy, through thick and thin.
Back right, fifth row.
Hey, Jason. Jack Simone, SB Nation. There was a point in the first quarter where Drew kind of pulled you guys in. Luka and Kyrie were going on this run. They were scoring. They were getting past you guys and hitting big shots. What did he say in that moment, and how did that, affect your guys' defense in particular for the rest of the game?
Yeah, they came out swinging. That was to be expected, that, they were at home. The crowd was behind them. This is obviously a big game, so we expected their first punch, and you know, it's just in that moment that Drew kind of brought us together and, you know, just clapped his hands like, yo, we got to wake up, we got to lock in, we got to get some stops. Because at that point, they had like 25 points. In the last 5-6 minutes, you know, we held them to like 5 or 6 points. But to start the quarter, we weren't getting any stops. And, you know, we're not going to win a game like that. So we just had to reset and lock back in at that moment.
Tim, standing on the left.
Jason, basically from that point until the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter, you guys had complete control of the game. And then there was that 4 or 5 minute stretch where things sort of went completely haywire. And then you were able to reset again. Sort of what happened in that early part of the fourth quarter when they made that big run to get back into it, and what allowed you guys to sort of reset yourselves and close the game out from there when it got back close again?
Not really trying to look too much into it. The game of basketball is about runs. And this is at the highest level. That's, you know, the best team in the West at this point in the time. So they're going to make shots. They're going to go on a run. And it's just all about how do you respond. You know, we talk about it all the time. 20-point leads, none of that is ever safe. It's never time to relax. And, yeah, you never want to give up a 20-point lead. Obviously, we wish we'd have got some better shots, took care of the ball. But things happen. It's never going to go how you expect it. And we talk about that all the time. But if you want to be a champion, you have to be resilient in those moments. And, you know, we showed that tonight.
Steve here in the front.
Steve Buckley from The Athletic. Before the game, your coach said to us, if you've been in a fight with someone and you think you're about to beat them, you usually get sucker punched. The closer you are to beating them, the closer you are to losing. Does he say that to you players on a regular basis, and how demonstrably does he say it? And what are you expecting from him the next couple of days going into Game 4?
Yeah, you know, Joe does a great job of showing us clips and things from different sports, right? He's a big UFC fan, and, you know, showing us fights of people that I don't know like the terminology of UFC, but put them in a chokehold and shit, and like they're about to tap out, and you just see the guy or the woman who's winning relaxing because they feel like they're about to win, and then, you know, you give the other person life. Just trying to translate that to the game of basketball, that, you know, the closer you are to winning, the closer that they are to surviving. And basically just trying to remind us in the group that we still got a long way to go. We still have to play the right way. We still got to win, that, you know, they're not going to quit, that we should expect the best from them from here on out.
We go Gary, Jay, and then Jared.
Jason, Gary Wash from Boston Globe. When they're making their run, and it could have been from the past, oh, here we go again. There's been some times at Game 4 against Golden State where guys were close. What mentality has changed where you and Jalen both said, let's go get this. Let's make plays. Let's make buckets. Forget what happened in the last 6 minutes. Let's go be heroes.
I mean, you just kind of alluded to it, that we've been in that situation. We've been in a close game where we were up, and, you know, we almost went up 3-1, and then they tied it. And experience is the best teacher, right? We learned from our mistakes. We learned from a team at the time that was better than us, that was, you know, had been there and been over that hump, and mentally tougher at the time. And we've grown from that. We really have. And, you know, it was on display tonight.
On your right, Jay.
You were down 1 at halftime. Did you feel okay about that after the punch you guys took from Luka and Kyrie? And then what went into executing throughout the third quarter? Joe said you guys made a lot of first reads during that stretch. But what went into that as you kind of pulled away?
Yeah, I got to watch the film, but that was some excellent basketball that we played to start the third, especially on the offensive end. I don't know how many possessions in a row that we got a great shot. We made most of them. We might have missed a few, but the way that we started the third quarter was incredible. And, you know, everybody that was on that court, the mindset that we came out to start the third in our execution, we did a hell of a job to start the third quarter.
Jared, last question on the right.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. Ever since Joe came on board, you guys have taken a ton of threes. And we've all been asking, is there such a thing as too many threes? And tonight, you took so many more threes in Dallas throughout the game that even as Luka and Kyrie were scoring, you were able to keep up. What did you think when Joe first came in and was like, we want to maximize our 3-point shot margin, and how has that gotten you through a lot of tough times over the years to end up with these kind of wins?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's as cut and dry as we just need to shoot a lot of threes, but with the group that we have and playing to our strengths, being able to beat guys off the dribble, and the luxury that we have is with our starting five, whether it's KP or Al, everybody can space the floor and shoot. So it just puts their 5 men in a tough position. 5 men are usually known to help at the rim. But if we have guys that can attack you off the dribble and get all the way to the rim, you want to help. But we got 40% 3-point shooters all around the paint. So it's just all about making the right reads. We never we need to shoot 40 threes a night. But if we play to our strengths and we space how we're supposed to, it just finds the right person, and we don't turn down any great shots.
Thank you, Jason. Tillman will be right up.
Carlos Rebelo de Telemundo 39. Luka, muy buenas noches. Ha sido realista en estos playoffs. No se acaba hasta que un equipo gane 4 partidos. ¿Cuál es tu mensaje para la afición y cómo lo ves para lo que sigue? Gracias.
Hay que ser positivos y ya está. Muy positivos. Al final es primero a 4 y hay que ser positivos.
Jake here in the 5th row.
Jake Fisher with Yahoo Sports. Luke, I know elephant hunting is a big part of your guys' offensive strategy. How does it feel from your perspective to kind of be that on Boston's side of things? And what kind of responsibility do you think you can take to improve in that area moving forward?
No, it's okay. Every time they draw it, basically call a foul. So I try to be better. So gotta get better.
Middle here.
Blake Elliott, 105 through the fan. Luka, just take us through, right here in the middle, just take us through your emotions when you foul out of the game and you see your team trying to fight back into it.
I mean, yeah, we had a good chance. We were close. Just didn't get it. I wish I was out there.
Any other questions for Luka? Got Tim right here, first row.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Luka, what did you think of the whistles that went against you in the fourth quarter?
I mean, I don't know. We couldn't play physical, so I don't know. I don't want to say nothing, but 6 foul in the NBA Finals, where I'm like this. Come on, man. Better than that.
You guys came out cooking in the first quarter. I think 25 points through 7 minutes. What happened to make to bog down the offense? What happened to make scoring more difficult there?
I think we should just keep playing, with the same energy. Keep the same people in. We were rolling down there, but then they came back. At some point we were down 21-2 in the fourth quarter, and we came back. So we're gonna still believe till the end.
Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. We know you've only fouled out 3 times in the NBA. Have you ever had 4 fouls called on you in that short of a span?
Sorry?
Do you ever recall having 4 fouls on you being called in that short of a span?
Not really. I don't think it never happened to me. I remember.
And what did you guys do right to turn around the game and pull off that 20-2 rally?
Just playing with pace. They didn't. We played good defense, and then we played with pace. Just driving, kicking, and that's how we got back to the game.
Tomer here on the left.
Tomer with Charlie with Clutch Points. Luka, you mentioned staying positive. I guess, again, scoring just seems to be a big issue for you guys. What outside of just staying positive can you guys do? Are you seeing the process that you want to offensively, or are there more things you need to see out there?
I think we gotta figure out some things. We played 3 times against them now, so we're getting to know them. But I think being down 21 in third game and then came back, was really a positive thing for us.
Dan here on the left.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports over here, Luka. I think the number is 156 teams been down 3-0 in a series. Not one has come back yet. Having come so close tonight with that sort of best punch you threw, how do you get into the right mindset to be able to get one on the board in Game 4?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not over till it's over. So we just gotta believe. Like I always say, it's first to 4. We're gonna stay together. We lose together, we win together. So we gotta stay together.
8th row on the left in the back.
Luka, Kevin Sherrington, Dallas Morning News. 4 years ago, Jerry West had a lot of really nice things to say about you, projected how great he thought you were going to be. I wonder what that meant to you when he said that, and what were your thoughts about his passing?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't see what he said. I don't know, but he was a legend. We're all gonna miss him. He's the logo, so he was an amazing player. I wasn't born yet, but I saw some highlights. He was an amazing player.
Hola, Luka. Saber cómo estás y cómo afecta el hecho de que entre este partido y el cuarto sea los 2 partidos en los que hay menos tiempo de recuperar. Mañana ya estáis con el Media Day y pasado jugando otra vez.
Sí, bueno, así han sido todos los playoffs de antes, así que hay que prepararse, descansar mañana y a por el cuarto partido. Bien. Good.
Last row, last question.
Mojca, Radio Slovenija. Luka, kako se zdaj izbrati in pripraviti na naslednjo tekmo in pozabiti to, kar se je zdaj zgodilo? Kako nekako držati visoko moralo?
Gremo naprej, mislim. Naslednja tekma je najbolj važna, tako da moramo imeti tekmo po tekmo. Moramo zmagati 4, tako da treba se pripraviti.
What were you thinking during that challenge?
I didn't think it was a foul. I don't think any of us did. But you can't take back what the refs call. You can't take back that moment. So seeing him foul out, he putting his trust in us, his teammates, as I would do if I fouled out. So just because he fouls out doesn't mean we're all going to look down. We're all going to be like, oh, boo-hoo, we lost. We're going to keep our foot on the gas. We were trying to do whatever we could to stay in the game and try to win. And that's what, we weren't able to come up short, but, we're going to learn from our mistakes.
Any other questions for Derek? Dwayne Price here on the left, on the right.
Wayne Price, Mavs.com. When you guys found out that Porzingis wasn't going to play, what was the mindset going into the game?
Us as bigs, we were just trying to make more of an impact than we have the past 2 games. Trying to duck in, trying to be all over the glass, no matter if it's defensive or offensive, and just try to be able to get on and run. Since they were trying to pass off Porzingis' man a lot, but even with that, we were trying to put Al Horford in it, any other elephants, and just trying to be able to just get the mismatches, get the space, and get the shots that we like.
Front row, Mike.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Obviously, we know Kyrie's had a pretty rough go for it, just the first 2 games. What did you see from him tonight and trying to lead your team, especially when Luka was out?
He came out, he was the head of the snake. I feel like he was leading us, making sure that we had the energy, making sure we were talking to each other, staying positive, and then setting each other up. He was talking to us, saying what we need, what he needs from us, and what we need from him. He's been a great leader. He had a great game today, and I know he's going to have another one on Friday.
5th row, Jake.
Jake Fisher, Yahoo Sports. On the long lines of the Porzingis absence, what did you see of Xavier Tillman tonight after he wasn't really a factor in the series? Came out, was like a +9, had some stops on Luka.
He's a great defender. You know, he's been in the league for a while. He understands the game. He understands the schemes of what they're trying to do and what we're trying to do. You know, there was a couple of times that, you know, he got on the ball, he was moving his puppies. You know, you got to tip your hat to that. But just because that happens, just because they're adding a new person in doesn't mean anything. We were just trying to do what we do. Get out in pace, get out, pass the ball, throw it ahead, get to the rim. If not, get quarter threes and just move the ball around.
Any other questions for Derek?
Appreciate you.
Hi, Coach. Joey Mastretta, Clutch Points right here. The motto with this team all season's kind of been resiliency. Obviously, the story is going to be you're down 0-3, make history. How do you guys go about just taking it one game at a time, taking care of business in that sense?
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about this evening after the game was, you know, just one possession at a time. We'll watch film tomorrow and get ready for Friday.
Tim Cato with The Athletic. Jason, you played 11 players in the first half. You know, what were you looking for with the rotations and, you know, an attempt to find somebody who could contribute early on?
Yeah, we're trying to find someone to come off the bench and give us a spark. It doesn't always have to be someone making a shot. And I thought the guys that played tonight, helped us get the lead or get back into the game. When you look at some of the guys who played, we got good looks. Some of them made them, some of them didn't. But I thought the group that played there, once that third quarter, got away from us, it just showed the group kept playing. And I thought D-Live was great during the timeouts. He was, still positive and telling guys that we could still get back into this. And it turns, into a one-possession game. But also just with the bodies that we were throwing out there, with just the fatigue, trying to get fresh legs and trying to keep everybody fresh as we knew it was going to be, come down to the fourth quarter. And unfortunately, we lost Luka there when he fouled out.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Obviously, you having a chance to look at the replay of the foul, Luka 6. What did you think of that?
They called a foul. I was stuck. I had to challenge it. So I had to challenge because it was, a close call. But the referee called it a foul. You got to move on, move forward.
And then, third straight game, you guys don't crack 100 points. Came out, lighting it up in the first quarter. Why do you think things bogged down really until the fourth quarter for you offensively?
Yeah, we missed some layups. We had some good looks. We missed layups. We missed some open threes. We had some, again, we missed a three. Kai misses a pull-up that we would take, every time. It's a one-possession game, and unfortunately, we just could not get over the hump tonight.
Jake Fisher, fifth row.
Jake Fisher, Yahoo Sports. Luka's obviously dealing with a bunch of injuries. He has such an intense workload on the offensive side of the ball. But what more would you like to see from him on the defensive side of things when he's the one that Boston's hunting and all these switches and they're putting him in off-ball actions and stuff like that?
Yeah, he is definitely got a bullseye on his chest, and so he's got to be able to guard and understand that we're there to protect him and help him if he does get beat. But again, he's carrying the load offensively, and they are putting him in every pick and roll and ISO, and so he's got to be able to play the game where he can rest on offense and let others carry the load.
Right, fourth row.
Yeah, Coach Daniel Bell, BSO. You guys were 10 of 13 in the paint in the first quarter, 16 of 41 after that. What did you see from the Celtics that gave you guys a problem after the first?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Celtics. I think we just we missed some bunnies tonight. Understanding that that's just part of the game. I think with fatigue, mentally and physically, we just missed some layups that we hadn't missed here in the playoffs. And give them credit; they make it tough, and they will wear on you as the game goes on. We got off to a good start, but I didn't see where they affected us in the sense of we missed some layups, and that's just a game of basketball. It happens.
Right here in the middle.
Blake Elliott, 105 through the fan. Jason, outside of the film room and X's and O's that you'll do over the next day until Game 4, what is kind of a way to clear your mind or clear the team's mind or get the kind of a different message through for Game 4 to them?
Yeah, I think for us, this is a quick turn, so we don't have time to go to the park or anything. We got to figure out how to score the ball, take care of the ball. Again, Brown and Tatum, when you give up 60 points to those guys, we don't have time to go clear our minds. We got to do better, and that's for everybody who's playing.
On the left, Amin
Elhassan, Meadowlark Media. Coach, was there any discussion about Luka's fifth foul? I'm challenging that when Jaylen Brown hooked, and if not, why not?
Maybe we should have challenged all of them. I mean, you're going to ask that question about challenging the fifth foul. Why wouldn't we challenge them all?
Well, I mean, just because it seemed because Brown hooked him, it looked like there was a hook there, and
yeah, looks can be deceiving.
Dan on the left.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Two-possession game in the final minute, Game 2. Two-possession game down into the final minute, Game 3. To come away from that, down 0-3, how do you keep the guys feeling positive moving into Game 4 as opposed to feeling like kind of maybe you missed your best shot?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when you look at experience, we're all learning, what it means to be on this stage and going through it. There's a lot of young players on our side who have never done this before. So just to understand, we'll talk about that this experience that we're going through is a healthy thing. It's not a bad thing. We're down 3-0. We felt like Game 2 and Game 3 were better for us, and that's the way we have to play. And then offensively, we just got to get some other people to step up and make some shots for us.
Last question, second row.
Coach Kidd, Noah Weber of the Smoking Cube, and there in the second half, you're on that big run, and you called that timeout. I was curious as to your reasoning behind that, and how do you balance wanting to get your guys some rest, but also wanting to keep the momentum of the run?
What timeout?
And I think it was in the fourth.
At the end of the fourth? What?
During the 20 to 2 run.
I called a couple timeouts.
Okay, the one that was at the end of the 20 to 2 run.
When we missed the 2 shots?
To be honest, I don't remember what happened before it. I just know it was a timeout.
That's tough. Why are you guys laughing? I asked what timeout was it. I called a couple timeouts. You gotta do better. Right, and we missed the 3. Thank you. We missed the 3 and we missed Kai's pull-up, and it's a 1-possession game. So that's why we called the timeout. We exerted a lot of energy on the defensive end and offensive end, so that's why we called the timeout. Thanks for clarifying that. Way to step up.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Bobby Manning, CLNS Media. Derek, obviously defensive efforts, one-on-one defense has been a lot of this series. What's it just been like seeing individual defenders kind of rise to the occasion in this series? And how much do you think Drew has kind of been a benefit with some of the tips and advice he's kind of given you guys as defenders throughout this year?
I just think that top to bottom, we trust everybody and we just compete at a high level. Obviously, they're great players and it's a challenge, but just consistently being in the right position and just competing. And Drew's literally everywhere. It's unreal. I don't know how he does it. Try to learn as much as I can from him, and he's just when you think you got an opening, like he's unreal.
Again, here in the front.
Noah Dalzell, SB Nation. I was just going to ask you, you've described Jaylen Brown as unreal many times during this playoff run and kind of talked about how he has really no weaknesses at this point. You've been his teammate for a couple of years, and Joe talked earlier today about how he works with 6-7 coaches to kind of figure out how to make every read. What have you seen from that, from just the work that he's putting into practice? Are you ever involved in that, and how do you see kind of that growth translate onto the court in the biggest moments?
Yeah, I mean, he's just a guy that just wants to learn. Some of the drills he does is just a little unconventional, I think, but just wants to learn and wants to grow. And then every year he's been in the league, he's gotten so much better. And I mean, that's just a credit to his mindset and the work he puts in. So being his teammate has been a lot of fun. I've learned so much from him, and he just continues to push me and the rest of us to continue to improve and want to get better.
Fifth row on the left, Sirat.
Hey, Derek, Sirat Sohi at The Ringer. Joe's philosophy of the closer you are to winning, the closer you are to losing, it seems like that was playing out in the fourth quarter as the Mavs were making a comeback. I was just curious what he was like down the stretch there and, if there was any degree to which he helped you guys pull together, stay poised.
Yeah, Joe is consistent the whole time, and I mean, he's probably so happy that it happened like that, and so he can just continue to tell us that. And but he just stays consistent. He just makes the right calls, and we just trust him completely. So, but yeah, it seemed pretty true today. He's a sicko, so probably.
Back right.
Hey, Derek, Jack Simone, SB Nation. With KP out, you guys played a lot more switch-heavy defense. Guys like Xavier Tillman, Sam Hauser really stepped up in that regard. What did you see from them and, the whole team in that, defensive style?
Yeah, I mean, Sam's been doing it all year. He gets attacked literally every time he checks into the game, and we just got a lot of faith and confidence in him, and he just does what he needs to do. And then, but big shout out to X. I mean, to not be in the rotation, but just stay locked in, and he gives us big time minutes, +9, and he just does a little bit of everything out there. And then he guarded his ass off and hit a big shot and rebounded, and he just did a little bit of everything for us. And so credit to him, man. Great teammate, great guy, and he was big for us.
Dave, on your left, second row.
Derek, watching you guys, it's so apparent that, 1 through whatever in your rotation, everyone's out there to contribute, as you just mentioned with Tillman. But when you get into a late game scenario, how does the group rely on guys like the two guys in Jaylen and Jason? And obviously they made some plays down the stretch after Dallas cut it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the strength of this team is the team, but we understand that JB and JT, they're our guys, and they're going to make big plays, and they're going to make the right play. I think that's the most important part, is just we trust them to make the right play every time down the court, and they're facing literally every coverage known to man, and they just make the right play no matter what time's on the score or time's on the clock, and we just trust them so much.
On your left in the front, Mark.
Hey, Derek. Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. It felt like this game is a game that a lot of the Celtics naysayers coming into this series might have thought that you guys would have lost. Maybe in past seasons you might have given this one up. What do you think has gone into the change in these moments, both individually, guys on the team, and collectively?
I mean, I think experience always helps. We have a lot of guys that have been in close games and in big games, and so I just don't think we panic probably as much as we have in the past, and we just try to stay calm and do what we need to do. So, who knows if we would have lost these games in the past, but we just know we got so many different ways to win games and trust that we can find the answer and just do whatever it takes to win.
Fourth row in the center.
Hey, Derek. Bobby Kravitsky, SI Media Group. Earlier this season, Joe said about Drew Holiday that it doesn't matter if he's having a good game or it's not going well for him. You can never tell based on his body language. How does that even-keeled approach, has that helped you guys stay calm in the most challenging moments?
Yeah, it's big time. He just stays right here. He competes on the defensive end like always, and offensively, he could take 9 shots, he take 1 shot, like he doesn't care and just does whatever it takes for us to win. So just having him on the team is just a big blessing.
Tim on the left standing.
Derek, you guys obviously had that slow start, then you played great for most of the next 3 quarters. And then that early part of the fourth quarter, things kind of went haywire again. What did you see go sideways there for you guys? And then what allowed you to reset again like you did in that second half of the first quarter to close things out in the end?
Yeah, I think and we had some turnovers, which allowed them to get out in transition, and just a couple of things that we've been doing really well. We kind of just let go of the rope for however many minutes that was. It seemed like, the 2 minutes, they cut it to, 3 or something. So it happened quick, and we just settled back down and just understand it's a game of runs, and we just trust what we do.
Abby on the left.
Abby Jin, NBC Sports Boston. Now you're 1 win away. What were you guys saying to each other in the locker room? What's Joe's message coming out?
Obviously, the closer you are to win, and it's that's his go-to. That was obviously said. But just understand that we need to play better. Closeout games are never easy, and the closeout game in the finals probably 10 times of that. So learn a lot from what we did well, what we need to do, and just understand we got to have to play even better for next game.
Last 2 on the right side here in the second row, and then Jared.
Hey, Derek. Andrew Callahan for the Boston Herald. Jalen had both baskets to answer Dallas after they cut it to 1 possession there in the last 3.5 minutes. I think it was a putback and then the foul line jumper. What do you remember about those plays, and what do they say about Jalen?
Yeah, big time shots. Just a guy that, he wanted the ball and was able to get to his spot and rise up and knock it down. He makes tough shots, and he's just a special player.
Jared, last question on the right.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. When you got here, your teammates demanded that you shoot threes. Coaching staff demanded that you shoot threes.
Demanded, whoa.
They were pretty adamant about it. And Joe has built this system where all the reads a lot of them are set up to create open threes, and you kind of 3-point attempt teams until you eventually kind of have that advantage. And tonight, Luka and Kyrie, they were scoring on the inside, but you guys kept taking those threes, and the math worked in your favor. How has that worked for you guys kind of over the long term? And now that you're at the precipice of potentially winning a championship, how valuable do you think Joe's approach has been for you?
I think Joe is a basketball genius. So whatever he says, I'm going to try to just do it at my highest capabilities. And we just try to make the right basketball play every time down the court, whether that's a 3, but just trying to have the right spacing and just make the right basketball play. So it's not like we need to take however many threes. I think we just can win in so many different ways, and with our spacing and the guys that can shoot on the court, we can just do so much.
Thank you, Derek. Jalen should be in shortly.
Your mistakes, and then you got Derek White catching the ball, by his waist or above his head and still shooting the threes and making timely threes. So again, you got to give him credit, but I think still we have a belief that we can win one game at a time and take this series a little bit further.
Front row here on the right.
Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. You guys had 15 assists. Do you think your ball movement was significantly better to get a higher number, or are they just guarding you guys too well and taking away other opportunities off passes?
That's a great question. I think when you see us out there, there are a lot of shots at the rim that are contested by one person or two people. I think at this point, it's more of a pride thing for us to go and finish. And when we have a one-on-one matchup, we feel like we can take advantage of it. So that could be part of their game plan where, while we're out there, I could hear them yelling certain things like, don't contest it, just let them play one-on-one. So there's a little bit of cat and mouse going on, just seeing if we can finish our shots. And I feel like we're getting great looks, and we just got to convert them.
Tim here in the middle.
Tim Cato from The Athletic. I wanted to ask you about Derek Lively. He talked about his games 1 and 2 were not, he felt, he described himself as just not being his best, overwhelmed by the moment. He's a 20-year-old who has played more minutes at his age than anybody in NBA Finals history. What you saw from him in Game 3, the way that he rallied and looked more comfortable, closed the game, is that just another step of maturity or another step that he has made in this very impressive rookie season of his?
For sure. The journey is a reward, and I've always told him that this mission is bigger than us. It's not just solely focused on this year. We have a future together where we're going to continue to grow as teammates, and for him to take accountability like that after Game 2 to be 20 years old, that's a big step. I definitely wasn't there emotionally or mature-wise, so he definitely deserves his flowers, and he rallied us tonight, came to the bench and just told us to keep believing. And when you have one of the youngest guys on the team, if not the youngest guy on the team, speaking like that, it's one of two choices. We can either follow his lead and, continue to ride his energy, or we fold up. And I think that we made the former choice, and we kept playing and kept competing, and it just wasn't enough. But I got to, give a big shout out to D-Live for just keeping us at bay and keeping us at peace, man. That was special. That was special. And those are moments that you remember forever and that you carry on as a teammate that can help you down the line.
Tomer here on the right.
Kyrie Tomer Azarlo with Clutch Points. I'm just curious, midway through the third quarter, late in the third quarter, I think the shot distribution between you and Luka was like 20 apiece, and the rest of the guys had like 3 each. Given how, the cat and mouse that you talked about, how they're kind of playing you guys, what are you seeing out there that could be done differently, again, given the way they're defending you guys?
We just got to convert. I feel like we're getting a lot of shots that we like, and when you have Luka going against Peyton Pritchard or D. White in the post or somebody else in the post, we feel really good about it. Now isn't the time to hold our head on, not converting shots that we normally have made majority of this playoff run. We just got to keep attacking, and nights like tonight, you kind of could expect that we were going to be very aggressive. We want to win, and our teammates want to win alongside us. So for us, we just got to convert and be more efficient, and see where it goes from there.
Last question here, Tim.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Obviously a frustrating night for Luka, especially having to watch the last 4+ minutes. What do you say to him tonight?
You just got to let it breathe a little bit, let the human emotions come out, and just give him a hug. That's it, man. It's easy to point the finger at just him and say, you could be better, and that's easy to say. I think he knows that. But yeah, it's just reiterating that I got his back, and we all have his back, and it's a tough game, and it was a tough call. We could have probably done a little bit something different on this 5th foul, just to give us a little bit more of a grace period to set our defense and get him on a matchup. But hindsight's 20/20. But we just got to wash our hands with this and get ready for Game 4.
Thanks, Gary.
Responsibility that, hey, we got to make some plays here to close this thing out. And what is it like to kind of tackle that final stage of the fourth quarter tonight together?
I thought it was a great team win. That lead dwindled fast. I know we were up 20, and then they stormed back, and that's what the beauty of basketball is. You can never let up. It's always time, and they were able to cut the lead. But in those moments, those are the moments which you have to just live for. We've been in those moments a lot. We just needed to be patient, be poised. I feel like we got some good looks. The defensive intensity ramped up. Officiating, got a little bit tighter. So at the end of the day, you just got to make plays. I thought we had some good looks down the line in the fourth. some went in, some didn't, but we was able to make plays and find a way to win. And we've been in those positions and we've lost. So it was great to overcome that with my brother Jason and the rest of our team. That was special.
On your right, second row.
Hey, Jalen, Andrew Callahan from the Boston Herald. Luka has 8 points in the fourth quarter of this series. He's shooting 20%. We can see that, but what does it feel like guarding him as much as you have when it comes to the fourth quarter? And can you sense him wearing down at all?
Luka's a great player. I'm gonna start by saying that he does a lot for their team. Offensively, he has the ball in his hands a lot. It's a tough lift for him. So, he's been tough. Even with that fourth quarter, those stats, he's still been able to pretty much get to whatever he wants. So, we just got to continue to be better. And that's all I could really say.
Tim, standing on your left.
Jalen, you mentioned how you guys have been in a lot of spots over the years. Obviously, you go down early in the first quarter. You guys recover, respond the way you did the end of the first quarter. Beginning in the fourth quarter, same thing. They go on that big run. They get back in the game. You're able to respond again. How much of the way you guys responded on the road, like you have so many times over the last couple of years, is because you guys have been in so many of these situations and have sort of experienced just about everything you could have so far?
Yeah, sometimes success can be, almost not, I wouldn't say a bad thing, but just being able to finish that quarter where we were up 20, started the fourth, they came out and made some plays. I checked out around that time, and then around that fourth quarter, they just stormed all the way back. But, it's like that in basketball. And sometimes when you are winning, comfort kind of sets into your mind. You kind of like relax. Your brain kind of wants to go at ease. And you got to fight that. You got to fight that temptation to fall into that because there's still time left to be played and the other team is still competing. And I think even though that lead dwindled fast, we found ways and moments to overcome it. In that fourth quarter that I was proud of, we made some big-time plays. Drew Holiday, D. White, JT was physical, aggressive, got to the paint, and we was able to finish it.
Third row on your right.
Jalen, heading into that third quarter, just what was your mindset and sense of, what you were trying to do in your approach? And the second part of my question is the embrace with Jason Tatum at the end, to be one win away from championship after all the years you guys played together and all that, after you won the Eastern Conference MVP. Just what's that like right now? Or what was that like at that moment? Sorry.
To answer your first question, I feel like in the first half, I feel like we had some good looks, some good reads. I was finding guys getting to the paint, getting open. But on offense, I was a little bit, I was letting them off the hook. I feel like they were letting me kind of just have open looks from three. And I was taking the first one, and I should have been a little bit more patient. I was a little bit more patient in the second half of letting the game kind of come to me a little bit more. But it's awesome. I don't even really have words. It kind of doesn't even feel real right now, and I'm just trying to stay in the moment. It feels great to be up 3-0 in this series, but the job's not done.
Front left.
Jalen, that's you had 7 assists tonight for the second straight game. That was the first time you've done that in the postseason. What's your progression been like in that area on this stage, and how have you been able to balance it so well with, also maintaining your aggression scoring?
Yeah, just seeing what the game is giving me and making the right play. I feel like we got a bunch of great looks. And good things happen when I get to the paint. Sometimes I don't always get the assist. Sometimes it's a hockey assist, but I just like making the defense converge. You got to respect me getting to the basket. And, we got a lot of great shooters. So I was committed to that all night. And then the first half, I feel like I could have done it more. I settled for some shots because I had like a big on me. And, I needed to get to the paint a little bit more. And I did that in the second half and then in the fourth quarter. And I feel like that's what helped us win.
Jared on your right, third row.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. Joe, ever since he's gotten here, has tried to kind of reframe the way you guys think about basketball and looking at things as almost like a balance. And he talked today about how sometimes new ideas, it's hard to accept them at first. So looking at the different ways that he's tried to change the way you guys think about the game, how long did it take for you to kind of understand and embrace them? And how do you see those kind of paying off now?
The coaching staff has been fantastic all season long. I've been saying that throughout the regular season, even before we got to the playoffs. It's been just super organized. We've walked through all different types of scenarios. We've been like overly prepared. And they make sure that we know. Sometimes it's like, you got the coaches, they game plan, but they don't always let you know exactly what they're thinking. Like they tell us everything, super transparent, and we trusted it. We trusted, and I thought that has been great. So Joe has been a big key, reason to that, and he showed himself in his playoffs. He's been coaching his ass off.
Vince in the middle, and then Gary, last two.
Jalen, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. You hit the big 20-point third quarter, and then in the fourth, when they came back, you hit the big 2 jumpers to give you guys some breathing room. When you're in those moments, do you feel like the calm, the maturity, the poise compared to maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago? What has that process of being able to handle those moments been like for you?
I think, it definitely has been some growth, but I think this team has trusted me, especially in these playoffs, in those moments, to just be who I am, and I feel like I've been able to just deliver just by being patient and being poised. Those opportunities have presented themselves, and I've been able to take advantage of them. But I give all my credit to my teammates for the trust they had in me, to have the ball in my hands, and to be able to make those plays.
Gary in second row, center.
Jalen, Gary Washer, Boston Globe. Can you take us through 2 questions? Take us through the dunk at the end of the third quarter. Like, what were you thinking there? It just seemed like that kind of seized the momentum.
Just being aggressive, running that action with the ball in my hands to finish the third. I wanted to make sure that we got a good quality look. So if they would have overhelped, I would have been ready to kick it out. But I saw, I've been making those passes in the first half, and they didn't want to get those threes up, so they kind of were in between. And when I seen that, it was lights out. So I just went up and just finished it.
And what's the difference between maybe in past years, you guys in the fourth quarter kind of going, uh-oh, here we go again, as opposed to you and Jason going, okay, let's get this, let's make plays, let's be the heroes here?
I think experience is the best teacher. All year long, we've been hearing about the Celtics of the past. For the last 6 to 8 months, that's all we've been hearing is we've, all the different shortcomings we've had in the past. This is a new team. You know what I mean? We learned from those experiences, and in these moments, you could see that, we didn't run from it. We stepped up to the plate, and we found a way to win.
Thank you, Jalen. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Christian.
What's up, y'all? Let's get to it.
Hi, Josh Bowe, MavsMoneyball.com. Derek, with Boston all series, the way they can score at the rim and space you out at the corner, tonight they got a lot of more corner threes. What do you guys do now down 3-0 to try to keep trying to adjust and try to take something away, whether it's the rim or the corner?
We just got to make history. We got to go out there and we just got to play like our life's on the line. We got to be able to make sure that we're not giving up corner threes. The game plan is allowing them to get to the rim, allowing them to take pull-up twos. So we're going to keep letting them do that, but we got to be able to rotate well. We got to be able to talk, communicate, and know where the pass is going to go and know where we need to be.
Fifth row on the left, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports, over here, Derek. Right over here.
Gotcha.
Sorry. You said you got to play like your lives are on the line. 156 teams have been down 3-0. No one's made it back yet. What was the mood in the locker room when you guys got back there? What's the vibe of the team standing right now?
We all know what it takes. We all know we got to put everything in our minds, our body, and our soul into this game. We watching film, we talking to one another, we're trying to figure out what we need to do. They're a great team, so you got to give them that. They know how to score. They've been doing this for a long time. So, we just got to be able to step up, learn, and just be able to adapt.
Third row in the middle, Tim.
Gotcha.
Tim Cato, The Athletic. Coming into this game, the adjustment that you guys were trying to make, did you feel like you guys did a good job executing them? Was it just that, even when you were executing them, that once again, Boston is just that good of a team? Obviously there's even an 11-man rotation that Jason Kidd was using tonight.
It really comes down to us, just taking our foot off the gas. There was times in the game that we allowed them to be comfortable, allowed them to walk into threes, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to make the shots that they get, and we're going to give them. You know, we just can't take our foot off the gas. You know, there was times in, you know, I'd say the third quarter and the end of the second that we just allowed them to go on runs. We allowed them to get comfortable. And, you know, we just can't allow that to happen. We got to be able to be up in their grill the entire game and not let our foot off the gas.
Second row on the right.
Hi, Derek. Joey Mastretta, Clutch Points. I wanted to ask just about when Luka fouls out, what is the mindset with the team, maybe a sense of urgency to just, you know, step up and try to win that game?
Next man up mentality. You know, no matter if I foul out, no matter if Luka fouls out or Kai, it's a next man up mentality. You know, no matter who's on the floor, no matter what's going on in the game, we all putting our heart and soul in trying to win. You know, I feel like we did an amazing job throughout the whole game. Even though when we slipped up, we were staying together, we were staying positive, and we were doing whatever we could to try to win. But we just got to be able to we got to take care of the little things. The little details is what's going to cost us the game.
First over here on the left, Brad.
Following up on that, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News, when he did get his sixth foul, and then there was the coach's challenge, it's so rare for him to foul out. What were you thinking during that challenge?
You know, I didn't think it was a foul. I don't think any of us did. But you know, you can't take back what the refs call. You can't take back that moment. So seeing him foul out, you know, he putting his trust in us, his teammates, as I would do if I fouled out. So just because he fouls out doesn't mean we're all going to look down. We're all going to be like, oh, boo-hoo, we lose, we lost. We're going to keep our foot on the gas. We were trying to do whatever we could to stay in the game and try to win. And that's what, you know, we weren't able to come up short, but, you know, we're going to learn from our mistakes.
Any other questions for Derek? Dwayne Price here on the left, on the right.
Wayne Price, Mavs.com. When you guys found out that Porzingis wasn't going to play, what was the mindset going into the game?
You know, us as bigs, we were just trying to make more of an impact than we have the past two games. Trying to duck in, trying to be all over the glass, no matter if it's defensive or offensive, and just try to be able to get on and run. You know, since they were trying to pass off Porzingis' man a lot, but even with that, we were trying to put Al Horford in it, any other elephants, and just trying to be able to just get the mismatches, get the space, and get the shots that we like.
Front row, Mike.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Obviously, we know Kyrie's had a pretty rough go for it, just the first two games. What did you see from him tonight and trying to lead your team, especially when Luka was out?
You know, he came out, he was ahead of the snake. You know, I feel like he was leading us, you know, making sure that we had energy, making sure we talking to each other, staying positive, and then setting each other up. You know, he's talking to us, saying what we need, what he needs from us and what we need from him. You know, he's been a great leader. You know, he had a great game today, and, you know, I know he's going to have another one on Friday.
Fifth row, Jake.
Jake Fisher, Yahoo Sports. On the long lines of the Porzingis absence, what did you see of Xavier Tillman tonight after he wasn't really a factor in the series? Came out, was like a +9, had some stops on Luka.
You know, he's a great defender. You know, he's been in the league for a while. He understands the game. He understands the schemes of what they're trying to do and what we're trying to do. You know, there was a couple of times that, you know, he got on the ball, he was moving his puppies. You know, you got to tip your hat to that. But just because that happens, just because they're adding a new person in doesn't mean anything. We were just trying to do what we do. Get out in pace, get out, pass the ball, throw it ahead, get to the rim. If not, get quarter threes and just move the ball around.
Any other questions for Derek?
Appreciate you.
Derek, obviously a resilient comeback from you guys, but it ends up falling short. What went into making that comeback, and how frustrated are you guys right now to be in this 0-3 hole?
What came with it was not giving up, and everybody stayed out there fighting to the end. Last moment, we just wanted to fight to the end and try to give us our best chance of getting a win.
What did you guys think of Luka fouling out and how that all went down?
They called a foul. I mean, we can't do nothing about it. We challenged it, didn't overturn the challenge, and they didn't overturn the call, so it was a foul.
How did you guys manage to keep playing without him and still had a chance there late?
I mean, whoever's on the floor, we always got a chance. I mean, he has to take a break at some time, and those 4 minutes I guess that was his break.
Teams that go down 0-3 or 0-151, I'm sure you guys know better than anybody. How do you guys go out there and make history over the course of the next week and a half?
Fight. That's all we can do right now is just go out there and keep fighting as much as we can and fight out these wins.
Derek, thanks. Joe, back to you.
The last couple of games, but it was pretty good tonight. What did you see from him specifically? Because he seemed like much more comfortable here. Did you see that too?
I guess. I mean, the ball was just going through the basket for him. He was taking the same shots that he was getting in the previous games, and it was just falling for him. I'm happy he was ultra aggressive, and that's what we need from him.
I know it wasn't the result you wanted, but can you speak to the crowd and the atmosphere here tonight? You guys seem to be feeding off that with this electric.
No, it was loud. It was exactly what we was expecting, exactly what we needed. That's what we need going forward for these next couple games.
What was Coach Kidd's message just after the game in this locker room?
I think that's probably between the team and us, so we're going to stay there.
You guys went on a 20-2 run, had it down to 93-90, and you guys ended up calling the timeout. I think a lot of people were a little puzzled by that. What went into that timeout? Do you have any thoughts? I mean, did that slow your guys' momentum at all?
No, it was just give guys a breather. And they were out there for a long time, so just try to give them a breather and get them back out there.
Appreciate it.
Daniel, obviously a remarkable comeback from you guys to get that close late in the game, but it ends up falling short. What are the emotions after a finish like that?
No, I really can't speak for anybody, A bit of frustration, but at the end of the day, we made one extra push, and that's something that we needed to just kind of give us just some type of motivation during this game.
You guys, did you learn anything during that final push? You obviously have a mountain to climb now being down 0-3, but is there anything you can take out of this game that can help you as you do try and make history?
Find ways to keep us from being in that position of being down 21.
What'd you think of Luka fouling out? Obviously, he's been kind of the heart and soul for you guys all through the playoffs.
It's tough, We lost one of our main guys, so just had to find some type of way to make that push without him.
What was the mood in here afterward? How do you guys kind of rally now?
Just keep our head up and stay motivated, focus on the next game.
Thanks, man. Joe, back to you.
Kyrie was so up and down the first two games tonight. He seemed to be much more comfortable. Did you feel that too, and what did you see from him specifically?
Yeah, for sure. I seen 40 points from him. Most def. Came out, and he was ready to go.
And the crowd, the atmosphere, the lecture, the place was,
man.
What do you say about it?
Amazing. It's never a bad day when it comes to just like the crowd, because they always come and give us the energy that we need.
What's it going to take for you all to make history down 0-3? And what's the belief in this group that can happen?
Patience and just sticking to what we know best.
PJ, obviously a remarkable comeback from you guys there in the fourth quarter to make it close, but it ends up coming up just short. What were the emotions in this room afterward, and how do you guys rally after this one?
Obviously, we were upset about it. We felt like we had a terrible third quarter, but obviously our backs were against the wall, so we just had to make an effort to go out there and get a W. So back against the wall right now, so, at the end of the day, we just got to take it one game at a time.
For you personally, these finals have been frustrating tonight. It started to unlock a little bit for you, 3 3-pointers, and you had a significant role in that comeback there in the fourth quarter. What did it feel like to finally just kind of get something working a little bit?
It didn't feel good at all. We lost the game, so, I'm not really worried about that. At the end of the day, it's one game at a time. So,
how do you guys rally now? How do you take whatever you did well in that fourth quarter to make the comeback and apply that to your attempt to make history now?
you just got to have pride. At the end of the day, we can't go out like that. It's first to fourth, so like I said, back against the wall, and we just got to respond.
You weren't the only one that played much better tonight. Kyrie Irving, obviously, with a much better showing than games 1 and 2. What did you see him do well out there that allowed him to get it rolling?
He was aggressive early, got to his spots, and just made shots. So, that's the Kai we expect him to be, and we just got to do a better job of helping him out.
PJ, thanks.